Hello, 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 people. Welcome back to the mufcMPB channel with your host today, Anil Kandola. I promised you when I started to do interviews on this channel that we would bring in some big guests, and we've got a huge guest joining me today. He's the head of football at Sport Bild, one of the most prominent journalists in the game, and he is a very, very connected individual, especially when it comes to things in Germany. Christian Falk, would you say that is true or not true?
So I hope it's true. Sometimes give me same and not true, but in this case, I would give it up to you. But I hope you let it be true.
Well, absolutely. If it's down to me, I'm going to say absolutely true. So I just want to get straight into things. I think this is a perfect time to speak to an individual like yourself with so many links in so many different ways when it comes to Manchester United and Germany and that part of the world. I think the one big name that so many people, including myself, want to really hear about is a certain Thomas Tuchel. Now, I was told last week that talks would almost progress a little bit more after the Champions League game. Have we had any sort of progression on them talks? Is it true that he's Manchester United's top target for the manager? And what are the talks, if any, going like at the moment?
Yes, Thomas Tuchel admires Manchester United very much. It was always in his mind that he wanna be manager of this big club. So also before Chelsea, he had an eye on this club, and now he been in England. He loves the Premier League. So normally, if we would have talked yesterday, I would say it's very likely that he's be the next manager at United if Erik Ten Hag would be fired. He would like to do that, but now there was a big change at Bayern Munich. So yesterday, the board was talking and discussing, and they have a fourth nose from managers. The last one was Glasner of Crystal Palace before Alonso, Rangnick, Nagelsmann. And now they have the idea to keep Nagelsmann. They really discuss that he will be also the coach next season. And this could be a little bit dangerous for Manchester United and their plans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a bit dangerous for myself because I would absolutely love to see Thomas Tuchel at Manchester United. But I just wanted to ask you a question. So, if we do have a very simple situation, but as we know, it never quite works like this in the world of football. But let's say Manchester United offer Thomas Tuchel a contract and Bayern Munich offer him to stay as well. Considering his love for the Premier League, but also the fact that he is already at Bayern Munich, in your opinion, which one would he pick?
Yeah, normally I would say there was a point in this season where Thomas Tuchel was in his mind to leave the Bundesliga. He was always talking about Premier League. The grass is greener in the Premier League. It's easier for managers in the Premier League because they don't have a manager above them like in Bundesliga. But now, they did very, very well in Champions League. I've been in Madrid after the match. There was a banquet with the team, and I've been there as well. And you saw he was not really, yes, he was disappointed, but he was still smiling again because that hey, it was so close and it's so much fun with this team. And I think if he gets the opportunity of the club, he thinks the way with Bayern Munich couldn't be over now. And he has a contract till 2025. So it's also a little bit up to Munich to give him free. There was also the idea to make a swap deal with Erik Ten Hag. And there were talks with Erik Ten Hag. We reported already because not only with Ten Hag, it was more his management, but this idea is off. And perhaps Bayern Munich will fight now really for Tuchel. But there's another manager in the Premier League. Perhaps he can help you that you get Tuchel.
Are we going to name any names there, or should we
Yes.
should we avoid them?
Yes, I heard yesterday from the meeting. The other big favorite is De Zerbi, Roberto De Zerbi of Brighton. He has a release clause, so it's a little bit easier than Glasner to get because Glasner, Bayern Munich would have paid 18 million euros transfer fee. But Crystal Palace said, no, no, no way. We don't talk. Perhaps you offer 100 million euros, then perhaps we come on the table. But 100 million euros was too much for Bayern Munich. So Glasner was interested, but at the end, he said, no, of course, I stay if the club doesn't like the money of Bayern Munich.
Absolutely. I mean, 100 million euros for a manager is just absolutely crazy, isn't it? But sticking with the managers, of course, now a massive talking point and a massive factor in all of this discussion with Thomas Tuchel or any potential replacement is, of course, Erik Ten Hag. What have you heard about Ten Hag in terms of his future at Manchester United? And if he was to leave or be relieved of his duties, should we say, is Bayern Munich, the Bundesliga, or maybe even Ajax a potential destination for the manager?
You know, it's always hard if you split with a club and you say, I didn't do my work so well if they don't want me anymore. But you see, he's not really happy at the moment. Otherwise, his management wouldn't have talked with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is a big club for him because he was already there. He was a coach of the second team when Pep Guardiola was the head of the first one. So I think coming back to Bayern Munich in the front door, that would be a really, really huge thing for him. But, you know, the deal is over now. And so I think he will still fight to be a Manchester United manager. He has plans for the next season, also with players. I'm sure we will talk about one or two of them. So you see, he's still fighting, but also United is not sure if they keep him at the moment. There was opportunity that there is a swap deal about Tuchel and Ten Hag, as I told you. So if you have such thoughts, you see everything is in discussion at the moment.
Yeah, you've just mentioned there perfectly. This is exactly why I love speaking to individuals like you, because it's almost like you can read my mind. Them certain individuals, obviously, of course, related to the Bundesliga, the one big name at the moment, of course, after his heroics, if you like, in the Champions League semi-final for Borussia Dortmund, is a certain Jadon Sancho. Now, we all know that there's a bit of a frosty relationship, shall we say, between Sancho and Eric Ten Hag, and the future at Manchester United looks unlikely if, of course, Eric Ten Hag is still the manager. But in terms of Jadon Sancho, what have you heard? Is he likely to stay at Borussia Dortmund or even join on a permanent, if you like? And how much would Dortmund be willing to pay for Jadon Sancho if, of course, they do want to keep him? Again.
Yeah, that's the big question. How much would they pay? They're confident with Sancho, and Sancho is doing well. He's feeling fine at Dortmund. You know, they reached the Champions League final, so he returned to a club who can show in Europa and Europe how good the team is and could be. But you know, it's not only the transfer fee of Dortmund; it's especially the big, huge salary of Jadon Sancho. You know, at the moment, Manchester United is paying the big part of his 20 million euro salary. So that it's not possible for Dortmund to pay. In Dortmund, you can maximum get 12 million euros, 30 million euros, and that's the end. And I don't talk about net, not like in England. So it's up to Sancho if he says, okay, I want to be a sportsman. I want to play. I don't want to earn so much as I did before. And he's okay to earn less than at Manchester United. There's the opportunity. At the end, I think the clubs would find an agreement. There's also Donny Marlon, you know. Dortmund is always thinking about selling him. There was an idea for swap deal in the past with Sancho. So I think it's not the transfer fee which will be the problem. It's the salary of Sancho.
Yeah, it's the salary. So as you just said there, he'll have to take a pay cut, won't he, if he wants to join Dortmund on a permanent deal. And as you said, the players being linked with Manchester United in and out will always be crazy. The size of the club, it's just like the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, all of the top clubs across the world. They'll always be linked with so many players. But one player I really did want to speak to you about is Jeremy Frimpong. Of course, he has been linked fairly with a move away from Leverkusen, but it wouldn't be a surprise at all considering how amazing they've been that he would stay there for another season. But would you say that he's a concrete target for Man United this summer? And have any talks taken place for Frimpong to join potentially Manchester United?
Yes, he is a target, especially because of Eric Ten Hag. So you see these personalities are connected a little bit. If he's staying at United, he is keen on him. There were talks in the past, also last summer. At the end, the Ten Hag and management of the club told Frimpong, at the moment it's more important to get offensive players, so there was no money left for the right back. But at the moment, it can be that they will be in the race again. You know, he has a release clause. This makes it easier. It's about 40 million euros. And at Leverkusen, he's the player. They're not sure if they can keep him. the most of the others, they have a big chance that the team is staying together, especially Florian Wirtz. Every top club in Europe is keen on him. And City perhaps a little bit more in front than United in your case, but there are many ideas of leaving the club with Alonso together in 2025 to Real Madrid. So you see many players are interested to stay, but have a plan for the future. Frimpong is the only question mark because the Premier League, that will be a big target, and playing with Manchester United for Eric Ten Hag, also a Dutch, that would be a really, really big dream for him.
Yeah, it'd be a big dream for myself as well. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And one thing that's really impressed me about him is his post-match interviews, his charisma, you know, his charm when he's speaking. Of course, it's been made a little bit easier by the extraordinary season they're having. But I think to have individuals like that around the camp at a football club, I think is just nothing but beneficial. One name I did really want to talk about, you know, at Manchester United, they're always linked to forwards, they're always linked to strikers, and it's my understanding that last season the intention was to get Højlund in as almost a secondary striker to allow him to learn his trade and really become the main man. But of course, Man United didn't get the in quotation marks the main striker that they wanted. But one individual they have been linked with is Benjamin Cesco. Now, there have been several links for quite some time now, I think, obviously relating to him joining Manchester United. I believe his agent was at Old Trafford. I just hope he didn't get wet by the leaky roof at Old Trafford, and he enjoyed as much as he could. But in terms of Cesco, can you just give us a bit of background? How much would his release clause be? Is he a player that Man United will move for in the summer? And how high is he on clubs' lists across Europe?
Yes, you know, his agent was at Old Trafford, but he wasn't only in Old Trafford. He's making a little Europe tour. He was also at Milan. So you see, he wants to be seen in the stadium. He is creating a market at the moment. To be true, there are many clubs behind him. It's not just United. United is in, but every one of the big six in Europe is watching him. Arsenal is also very keen on him. But there's a chance to get him because he has a release clause for this summer, and normally it would have been 50 million euros, but now it raised because he played so much. Now it's 75 million euros, and you see that's a lot of money. Not many clubs are in this situation to pay that. What I can say is that he is open to switch, that he make a transfer, especially in the Premier League. He has seen what Haaland is doing there. And in Leipzig, they say Cesco is even physical stronger than Haaland. So that sounds really good in my ears. He's really doing very well at Leipzig. So I think there's a chance for United to get in. And, you know, many clubs have a really good striker at the end. City has Haaland already, you know. You see the other clubs. But you see United need one of him. In this case, Arsenal as well. So I think when you have a look at the clubs who can pay this, and then there are not so many. So United has really a chance. And Cesco, he would be willing to hear offers.
Yeah, it would be amazing if Cesco joins, Thomas Tuchel joins. He'll bring Harry Kane with him as well to Manchester United, and everyone at Old Trafford can be really happy. But
I'm
I'll,
very sorry, but we can't give you Harry Kane. He's such a nice guy. I would miss him.
I understand. I understand. We had the privilege of having him in this country for so long. So enjoy your time, my friend, with Harry Kane, a brilliant player. Sticking with Bayern Munich, I think there's just a couple of names that I really wanted to talk to you about. Of course, you know, it's no secret given the injuries and the lack of options, shall we say, for Manchester United, that they will be in the market for a central defender. And I think the situation surrounding the central defenders at Bayern Munich's really interesting at the moment. You know, De Ligt was obviously there for quite a long time. Could he potentially be a centre-back target for Manchester United? And another name that I do want to talk about is Kim Min-jae, because Manchester United were heavily linked with him last season before he joined Bayern Munich. And of course, Bayern Munich, in the professional way that they always do, came in, put the money down on the table, and they got him. But it just hasn't quite worked out in the way that both parties wanted when it comes to Kim at Bayern Munich. So in terms of them centre-halves, and considering Manchester United's desperation for a defender, could any of these be potential moves?
So I'm very sorry, but I talked to Matthijs de Ligt and he told me, no, there was a time in the season when he was not playing. He is thinking about a move and United would be an option, but that's over now. He's the chief of the defense. He know now also if Tuchel would stay that he would play. So I think your chances are not so high on de Ligt. Kim Min-jae is a very special part of this idea, Bayern Munich, if there is an offer, they paid 50 million euros for him to Napoli. They would be at the table, but Min-jae Kim himself told us he wanna make the challenge at Bayern Munich. So then must Bayern Munich say to him, if there would be a high offer, you have to leave. I think after that he would think to leave, but at the moment, no, because also his club, former club Napoli, was knocking at the door, and then there was the answer: no, no, not at the moment. I want to be at Bayern Munich. So I think there are other defenders, which perhaps is a chance a little bit higher for Manchester United.
Well, you've just led me again to my next question, Christian. What names have you heard in that position for Manchester United? Because as I say, they really need a defender, with several defenders being linked with a move away from Manchester United. They had Casemiro and Johnny Evans playing at the back against one of the best teams in the country when it came to Arsenal the other day. So please let me know. Come on, fill me with some confidence, with some amazing superstars from the Bundesliga or anywhere else across Europe. Who are Manchester United potentially going to sign in that defensive role?
So Edmund Tapsoba is, of course, a player they have on the list. And at his case, there's a little chance perhaps to get him. Also, Leverkusen has to create money. They're not the richest club in Bundesliga. So many players are unsaleable at Leverkusen. Tapsoba, there is a chance. And I think he did very well in Bundesliga. So that's a question of money. I think Alonso would love to keep every player of his Champions team, but at Tapsoba, there's a small chance.
Hopefully, anyway, a small chance blossoms into a big chance for us, Christian, and Man United get some big names through the door. I just want to spend a little bit of time now, if that's okay with you, talking about your personal opinion. Now, it's amazing when I speak to individuals who aren't in England, who don't have, the day-to-day life of being in this country and hearing the media every single day. I just wanted to get your perspective of course, being away from England, look from the outside looking in almost, of Manchester United. Now, it's no secret how far they've fallen, but I just wanted to get your perspective of what Manchester United looks like to teams across Europe, to other countries across Europe and around the world. What do they see when they see Manchester United now?
In my age, when I was a young fan, Manchester United was that team in the world. I've been also there in Camp Nou when they beat Bayern Munich. Yeah, it was a very hard match for the Germans in 1999. But it's still a really big name in Europe. Every player when Manchester United is knocking, they are listening. You see Ten Hag. Didn't made it, but he followed when they called him. And especially Thomas Tuchel would love to make Manchester United what they deserved. Again, making a big club from them. You saw it worked already with another club in England when Jurgen Klopp was coming to Liverpool. So sometimes it needs just a few little changes and perhaps a little bit time. But Manchester United has a high potential, and everybody is talking about this club, is admiring this club. So I think at the moment it's hard for United fans to see other clubs playing Champions League, but I think they will come back. And saw both matches in the stadium when they played Bayern Munich this season. I think the first one they played against Munich was not so clear like it seemed at the end, and they did a very good match in Old Trafford. So you see, it's not so far away from a team of the Champions League half final. I think it needs some players to make the team complete. We're talking about a striker, so a really good striker. That would be what Manchester United would pushing to be in front again. So I think you have to wait a little bit, but Manchester United surely will be there where they have to be, in my views.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully it'll be Harry Kane who joins Manchester United, and we can take him off you there. Just one very very final question. Look, as I said right at the top of the show, you know you're an incredibly connected individual. You've got so many sources. You know so many people. Your contact book must be absolutely amazing. So with all of the things that you've been told, all of the things that you've heard through the rumor mill, through all of your contacts, all of your knowledge and your experience of being in football. Ineos, of course, have come into Manchester United. They've got a vision. They have a plan for the club where they want them to sort of be in a few years' time. With all of the links with certain players, the type of profile of player Manchester United seem to be going for now has changed slightly, even just with links. With everything that you've heard, do you think Manchester United will be on the right tracks again, or do you think it will be quite a lengthy process, considering how brilliant so many teams are across Europe?
Yes, you have a change in your board. So I think this was really, really a good thing. The new also owners also had the idea with Tuchel. So you see they're thinking in the right direction. I think you need a manager again. It must don't have to be Alex Ferguson, but perhaps a little bit more years to continue. A coach would be good for the club. I think Tuchel would be really an interesting solution because he showed it that he can do such things. And that's why I think Eric Ten Hag now has the problem that this season wasn't good. It's always hard then to follow the next season. And there were problems behind Ralf Rangnick. I think if he would have more time and his staff with him, I think this was the problem that Manchester United didn't have his staff. He can develop things as well, as you see now at the Austrian teams, and he did at Leipzig and in Hoffenheim. So give your managers a little bit more time, I think, and then you will be successful again.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to pass that on to every single Manchester United fan at the moment because it's so topsy and turvy. But moments like this, conversations like this with yourself are so beneficial because it really allows the Manchester United audiences, the mufcMPB fans and watchers and viewers to really understand and have a big insight into what's going on at the club. So a massive thank you, Christian, for your time, not just, of course, for today and giving us so many insights, but for all of the work that you've done. Long before I was in the media, I was following your account. I was making sure I was checking it to see what's going on with Manchester United and all the other things across Europe as well. So thank you so much. Keep the brilliant work up and stay inspiring, my friend.
Thank you very much for your words. And everybody who's interested in Bundesliga, I can tell you that this Friday, my podcast, FC Bayern Insider, will be now in English as well. So if you are interested in Bundesliga and in Bayern Munich, of course, now you can hear it in English. Before it was just in German. It was a little bit tricky for you, but at Friday, there's an English version. And I think United will always be a part of this.
Exactly that. You just can't get away from Manchester United conversation, can you? But that is amazing, brilliant. I'll be sure to check that out, as I'm sure everyone who has watched today will check that out also. Christian, thank you so much. And also a massive thank you to everyone who has watched today's podcast on the mufcMPB YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to try and plug the mufcMPB YouTube channel, but how can you top Christian's plug there? That was absolutely superb, and I can clearly learn a thing or two when it comes to that. But thank you so much again, as I say to everyone, please be sure to like, subscribe, and make sure, if in the unlikely case you don't already, follow Christian. Clearly, he's got so many projects in the pipeline for everyone to get involved with, so please be sure to follow him and also keep an eye out on his journey, which has already been absolutely incredible. So thank you, everyone. Take care, and I'll be sure to be joined by another huge, brilliant guest next week. Subscribe to the mufcMPB YouTube channel.